In every nation's journey, there comes a time to pause and reflect, not just on how far we have come, but who is lagging behind. As India nears its 79th Independence Day, it is this time to reflect. Has the fruits of development reached every corner? Has the fruits of development reached every state? Or some states like Bihar are still lagging behind? So today is this moment to see whether a population of 13 crore people, 38 districts, is doing well or not. Hi, my name is Uttam Kumar Verma and you are watching StudyIQ English, and we'll be discussing on the critical issue that do we need to divide or reorganize Bihar? Do we need to divide Bihar on Do we need to divide or reorganize Bihar into smaller states? So let's start. So do you know that Jharkhand, who was once a part of Bihar, has now better literacy rate as well as better HDI indicators. Jharkhand has now literacy of 70%. Now it's been 25 years since the birth of Jharkhand from Bihar. But the size of Bihar has shrunk, but its developmental burden has not. So it raises a pertinent question that is one CM enough to govern a state of 13 crore population, 38 districts, and a state as large as country of Greece? Now let us discuss that why this debate is arising. Bihar has 13 crore population. It ranks poor on socio-economic indicators. For example, HDI is 0.57. The per capita income of 50,000 rupees per annum is way too low than national average of 1.7 lakh. It is in contrast with other states. For example, Uttarakhand 1.2 crore, 13 districts. Telangana, it has population of 3.8 crore and it has 33 districts. So the one size fits all policy of Bihar is actually hampering Bihar's diversity as well as development. The present status of Bihar, that it is mired with poverty, heavy out migration, poor infrastructure, law and order issues, as well as regional disparities, where allegations are that development is centered around South Bihar or Patna region. So there is a need to see the cultural diversity of Bihar first. First is Seemanchal region. So Bihar can be reorganized into Seemanchal region, which is the eastern part of Bihar, Magadh region, Mithilanchal, as well as South Bihar. Now, if you see these cultural regions, you want to know that if you see these cultural regions, you need to know that there are intra-state disparities within these regions. For example, North Bihar region is much more flood prone, where Kosi, or the sorrow of Bihar, exists. It is agrarian. However, South Bihar is comparatively better roads, education and connectivity. Now the other region, which is called as Seemanchal, has literacy below state average, around 50-60%, and it has poor socio-economic indicators. Next is Mithilanchal, which has high outmigration and weak industrial base. Last is Bhojpur region. It is comparatively southern Bihar, where it has higher per capita income, better agriculture and better irrigation network. Now we'll see cultural regions of Bihar on a segment wise. For example, this is Seemanchal. It is the eastern part of Bihar, where it has districts like Kishanganj, Purnia, Katihar and Araria. It is grappled with high poverty, low infra, large Muslim population, and the per capita income is too much low, less than 30,000 per year, which is way too minimum to live a basic dignified life. It is Seemanchal region. Next is you have Mithilanchal region. It has culturally diverse Mathili speaking population. It consists of districts like Madhubani, Darbhanga. This whole is Mithila. Now it has high population density and it sees heavy out migration for economic opportunities to urban areas. It is way too much vulnerable to floods due to the impact of Kosi as well as the role of Nepal. It has low urbanization as well as low per capita income. If I talk about Magadh region centered around Gaya, Aurangabad and Nevada region. It is Naxal affected. Due to that, it has poor low industrial base or poor industrial base as well as poor irrigation network. So this is, can say, Magadh region. Now, if we move forward, we'll see Patna Bhojpur region, which is southern Bihar. It has comparatively better per capita income of 1.2 lakhs per annum, and the development is centered around this region, which is Patna and Bhojpur. So you can see there is huge economic disparity, regional disparity within Bihar. Now, there are some proposed smaller states in which there is a demand from people for creating separate Mithilanchal state, where Maithili speaking population is very different. There are other demands, for example, Seemanchal and Magadh Bhojpur region, because it is comparatively fertile and developed and it is way underdeveloped. Now, if you need to compare that, we are saying now that we need to see how the other smaller states who have been carved out are performing. So we'll see the Chhattisgarh, it has now surplus power state and it has a strong mineral policy. If we talk about Uttarakhand, it is a top tourist destination now and comparatively better connectivity. Jharkhand is on the lower side where it sees political instability. Now, if I talk about Telangana, it sees double-digit growth, around 12% GSDP, gross state domestic product, and Hyderabad has emerged as an excellent IT center. So it creates a demand to divide or reorganize Bihar into smaller states for better governance. So if I talk about in fact, you'll see that Bihar has 13 crore population compared to other states, Jharkhand 4 crore, Chhattisgarh 3.2, Uttarakhand 1.2 crore population and Telangana. You'll see rise in per capita income in this domain. So Bihar has around 60,000 rupees per capita income, Jharkhand has 87,000, Chhattisgarh 1.2 lakhs, Uttarakhand 2.09 lakhs and Telangana 2.75 lakhs. Clearly, when the population is very less, it is better to govern, it is better to provide development, then it automatically impacts on the per capita income. Literacy rate you'll see on the higher side, Bihar has 63% compared to other states which is on the higher side, Uttarakhand 79%, Jharkhand 70%, then Telangana 72% and same with HDI rank. Now, clearly it has some benefits. For example, it provides better governance because it provides more manageable administrative units. As of now, Bihar has 38 districts and 13 crore population and it is hugely manageable and it is hugely unmanageable by administration. So, we are seeing Seemanchal as separate state. Again, it will provide balanced development. For example, regions like Kosi and Seemanchal are always neglected in state plans and it always suffers with the issues of floods. So we need separate kind of planning there and no one size fits policy will work here. There is ethno-linguistic diversity in Bihar. For example, Mithila region speaks Maithili language and has separate culture. Next, the political representation, it means it has added benefit. More states means more budget allocation, more funds to develop and more Rajya Sabha seats. So it will also strengthen federalism. Then dividing Bihar into smaller states will be towards focused infra, where the smaller states will get focused central assistance. For example, the flood prone region will be getting funds and infra to tackle floods. Whereas the other parts, for example, southern Bihar, where water is a huge issue, they will get separate funds to tackle water issue. As you can see, like Uttarakhand, when carved out of Uttar Pradesh, it got special funds for hill development as well as tourism. Now, there is some concern, like we have to see the economic viability of any state, whether Seemanchal will financially sustain, whether it is viable to make such a small state. It will also reduce bargaining power of the state towards center. It will also create risk of regionalism or sub-regionalism on caste and communal lines. It will also create governance issue because as you can see, the case of Jharkhand, where merely creating CM or assembly do not guarantee better development because Jharkhand is mired with political instability too. And the cost of administration is very high in establishing a state because you need to establish new capitals, new assembly, maybe new high courts. Then, so let us see what our constituent makers think about this. So B.R. Ambedkar clearly thought that state must be around 2 crore population for effective governance, and beyond that the administration weakens as well as the democracy suffers. If I talk about Article 3 of the Constitution, Parliament can create or reorganize states or redraw boundaries as per the Constitution. In this, the consent of state is not required, and the recommendation is only from President after consulting state legislature. With over 13 crore population, 38 districts, it is a reality that Bihar is unmanageable to govern. So what we need as an alternative is to increase district in the meantime from present 38 to more than 60. We need to monitor inter and intra-district HDI for better governance and monitor SDG performance. We need to also strengthen local self-government by strengthening 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment. And we need to provide more financial and administrative decentralization. So at last, regional imbalances, poor development and poor regional planning already affects Bihar. So what we need is small focused units which serve the idea of state, which serve the idea of development, which serve the idea of federalism. So at last, it can be done through decentralization, devolution of powers and financial decentralization. So tell us in comments that whether we should divide Bihar or reorganize Bihar for better governance, for the benefit of people. At last, I will give you a practice question which is a UPSC PYQ but not from CSE, and it is a good question. Please solve it and post answer in comments. As per Article 3, the Parliament may by law. We have solved this in this lecture only. You can take hint from that. Thank you.